Jessica Turner never believed in miracles. At 28, she was barely holding her life together in a small apartment in Ohio. After losing her job during a company downsizing, everything started falling apart. Bills piled up, her savings ran dry, and the worst part, her landlord had already given her a final warning. One more missed payment, and she'd be out. Every night, Jessica sat on her worn-out couch, staring at the eviction notice taped to her wall. She had applied to over 50 jobs. No responses, no calls back, nothing. Then, one morning, something strange happened. She opened her email and froze. "Your rent has been paid in full for this month." At first, she thought it was a mistake. Maybe the system glitched. But when she called the landlord, he confirmed it. "Someone paid it anonymously," he said, and they left a note. They said not to tell you who they are. Jessica felt a mix of relief and confusion. Who would do something like this, and why? Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and every single month, her rent was paid. No name, no message, just paid. At first, it felt like a blessing, but after the third month, it started to feel strange, because people don't just give away money like that, not without a reason. And deep down, Jessica had a feeling this wasn't random. But what Jessica didn't know was that someone had been watching her long before the first payment was ever made. By the fourth month, Jessica couldn't ignore it anymore. She tried asking her landlord again, but he refused to give any details. "All I can say," he told her, "is that the person insists on staying anonymous." That only made things worse, because now Jessica's mind started racing. Was it someone she knew? A friend? A family member? But no one in her life had that kind of money, and even if they did, why hide it? One night, unable to sleep, Jessica sat by her window, looking down at the quiet street. That's when she noticed something odd. A black car parked across the street. It wasn't there every night, but often enough to feel familiar. At first, she ignored it. But then something else happened. A small envelope appeared at her door. No stamp, no address, just her name written neatly. Inside was a single note. "You're stronger than you think. Don't give up now." No signature, no explanation. Jessica's heart started pounding. This wasn't just about money anymore. Someone knew her. Someone was watching her struggle and helping her from the shadows. But why stay hidden? Why not just come forward? And more importantly, how did they know she needed help before she even asked? What Jessica discovered next would turn her fear into something even more unsettling, because the truth wasn't just emotional, it was deeply personal. Determined to find answers, Jessica decided to take control. The next time rent was due, she waited near the landlord's office early in the morning. If someone was paying in person, she'd see them. Hours passed. Nothing. Until finally, a man walked in. He was older, maybe in his late 50s, calm, quiet, dressed simply. He spoke briefly with the landlord and handed him an envelope. Jessica's heart raced. She waited until he stepped outside. "Excuse me," she called out. The man stopped. For a moment, their eyes met, and something about his expression felt familiar. "Were you the one paying my rent?" she asked. The man hesitated, then gently smiled. "I think you already know the answer," he said. "Why?" Jessica asked, her voice shaking. "Why would you help me?" The man looked at her for a long moment. Then he said something that made her world stop. "Because someone once did the same for me?" Jessica was confused. "What do you mean?" He took a deep breath. 6 months, he said. 6 months changed my life, and I promised myself, if I ever got the chance, I'd do the same for someone else. Jessica felt her eyes fill with tears, but something still didn't make sense. "How did you choose me?" she asked. The man's answer would change everything. Because Jessica wasn't chosen randomly. She was chosen for a reason that went back years, long before she even moved into that apartment. The man introduced himself as Daniel, and what he told Jessica next left her speechless. 5 years ago, Daniel said, I was homeless. He explained how he had lost everything, his job, his family, his home.
"I used to sit outside a small coffee shop every day," he said. "Cold, hungry, invisible." Jessica listened quietly. Then Daniel said something that hit her like lightning. One day, a girl came out of that shop. She didn't just give me money. She sat with me, talked to me like I mattered. Jessica's breath caught because she remembered. Years ago, she used to visit a coffee shop near her old job, and one day, she had done exactly that. "I didn't even know your name back then," Daniel said, "but I never forgot your kindness." He explained how that moment gave him hope. It pushed him to rebuild his life. "And when I saw you again," he said softly, "sitting on those apartment steps, looking just as lost as I once was, I knew it was my turn." Jessica couldn't hold back her tears. Something she had done without thinking had come back to save her life. But the most shocking part wasn't the past. It was what Daniel planned to do next.
Jessica thought the story ended there, that Daniel had simply returned a favor. But she was wrong, because Daniel had one more surprise. "I didn't just pay your rent," he said. Jessica looked at him, confused. "What do you mean?" "I've been following your job applications," he continued, "and I might know someone who's hiring." Within a week, Jessica had an interview, and within 2 weeks, she had a job, a real opportunity, a fresh start. For the first time in months, she felt stable again, safe. But more importantly, she felt grateful. Because this wasn't just about money, it was about something deeper, a moment of kindness coming full circle. Before they parted ways, Jessica asked one last question. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Daniel smiled. "Because sometimes people need to believe in miracles before they're ready to understand them." Years later, Jessica did the same for someone else, quietly, anonymously, because you never know, the smallest act of kindness today might come back to change your life tomorrow. Life lesson for this story: kindness always comes back, not immediately, not in the way you expect, but it comes back. In a world where most people only help when they get something in return, be different, because one small act, one moment of compassion, can echo for years, and one day, it might just save your life.